Hello PEM school board members, Superintendent Erke, and others viewing this presentation. My name is Ben Mose. I am the school social worker here at the PK3, and today I would like to give a brief explanation of mental health services that are currently available to students in the PK3 building, as well as the process used to decide which service provider is best suited to work with each identified student. So in the PK3, we have three basic tiers of services for students with mental health concerns. The initial mental health concern is most often brought to our attention by the student's classroom teacher or their parent. Since the teacher is generally the first to notice or be made aware of the mental health concern, the teacher is the first school staff or first tier to begin addressing the identified concerns. Often myself, our school psychologist, or our principal, Mr. Wright, will collaborate with the classroom teacher to discuss strategies to help the student within the classroom. If classroom strategies are tried for a reasonable period of time with no success, the student's teacher is asked to complete a form for our student support team meeting. The student support team includes our building principal, our school social worker, our school psychologist, a grade level teacher, a special education teacher, our Title I supervisor, and our ADSES reading staff member. So those are all of the individuals that are included in our student support team meetings. These meetings are held weekly, but that is based on how many referrals we receive. So if we receive 3, we'll discuss 3 different students. If we have 1, we'll discuss 1. If we don't have any, then we will not have a meeting that week unless we have a review of a previous student's concern that we met about. So during the student support team meeting, the identified student's classroom teacher is present to discuss concerns and to explain the data that the teacher collected. The team then discusses if more intensive work is warranted and who should begin that work with the student. Before the meeting is completed, a review meeting is scheduled, which allows the team to check periodically and assess if the current intervention is working and sufficient, or if a change is needed. So we do review these cases periodically. We schedule those review meetings, so it's not just a one meeting about the student, okay, this is what we're going to do, and we don't discuss the student again. We do have review meetings that are scheduled at the first meeting that we discuss concerns about each student. So the second tier, tier 2, is our school psychologist and myself, our school social worker. So an example of this would be, let's say we have a student that's displaying negative behaviors in the classroom, such as attention seeking or not following instructions. The classroom teacher has tried classroom interventions for a month, collected data, but is seeing little to no improvement. In this case, it is known that this child's mother died unexpectedly about 2 years ago. The student support team would take all of this information from the teacher, take the data that's collected, and would decide if the school social worker or the school psychologist should begin meeting with the student individually to work through recent trauma of losing the parent and how that relates to the student's behavior at school. So we're trying to understand how that past trauma is affecting the student's behavior within the school setting, and we do that through individual meetings or sessions with this student. If the intervention is tried, if this second intervention is tried with little or no improvement, or the school social worker or the school psychologist feels that the student's concerns are beyond his or her training or capabilities and expertise, then the student would be referred to our Tier 3 service provider, which is our school-based mental health worker. Parents can also contact school staff that would primarily be myself and request that their child begin seeing our school-based mental health worker. Now, obviously, that discussion would be what are your concerns? How does that relate to children's mental health? And in the case that it did pertain to the child's mental health, then in this case, I would serve as the primary contact for both the parent, the student support team, and the student's classroom teacher. So this school year is the first that we've had a school-based mental health therapist located in our elementary building. Our current school-based mental health therapist is Juanita Sawyer. She is with Family Service Rochester. Juanita has a supervisor based out of Family Service Rochester, but she works only with elementary students in our elementary building. The referral process for Juanita is pretty easy. So the way that works is I fill out a referral form, and I do that by getting the information either from JMC, or I'm contacting parents and getting this information. I'm also contacting parents to let them know that a referral will be coming home. The parents are asked to sign this referral form, check to make sure that all of the information is correct and accurate. Then I would take that referral form that is signed and I would give it to Juanita. At that point, Juanita will contact the parents and schedule an initial intake meeting. This initial intake meeting is going to be with the parents or legal guardian and the child. And they're going to gather initial information before Juanita would begin individual sessions with the student. Those individual sessions are typically about 50 minutes. They are held within the school setting, and we definitely collaborate with classroom teachers to do our very best to make sure that these students are not missing core instructional time when they are meeting with Juanita. Currently, Juanita has 16 signed referrals for students in our elementary building, and she is actively working with 11 of these students. Other students, some of those 16 students, she's in the process of scheduling an initial intake meeting, or she's in the process of starting those individual sessions with the student. It's important to remember payment for services for any of these services by Juanita are dealt with by FSR through insurance. The school district is not responsible for any payment of services that Juanita provides to our students in our building. So, once again, we utilize a tiered team approach to serve students with mental health concerns in the elementary. Each step in the process requires data collection and collaboration between the stakeholders. I feel the addition of Juanita to our team approach has been very positive for students and for families. Oftentimes, needed children's mental health services are not provided due to a number of barriers that are in place. Transportation tends to be one of those most significant barriers. Most service providers for students in our building are going to be in Rochester, so that means there is obviously transportation requirement to get the student or the child to the service provider. So what we're doing is we're taking that barrier away by housing a school-based mental health worker to meet with those students within our building for any identified mental health concerns. This allows for more seamless collaboration between the children's mental health professional and school staff. So I hope that this presentation was beneficial and informative, but if you have any questions, please contact me. You can contact me via email at bmohs at isd2899.k12.mn.us, or you can reach me by phone at 507-534-4232, and my extension is 1669. Thank you very much.